When you go to find the vertex of this one, it's no different than any other one. We're going to do negative b over 2a. So first let me just recopy this here. Negative x squared plus 6x minus 11. Okay, so we'll start with our negative b over 2a. So we've got negative 6 over 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. So my vertex is going to be at 3 comma something. Here's where students mess up time and time and time again. Okay, so please don't let you be the kid that falls into this trap. Are you all watching? Are you paying close attention? The very first number that I need to plug in is 3. When you plug this in, please watch how this goes. You are replacing the x's with 3's. So it looks like this. When you evaluate this properly, this does not mean negative 3 squared. It means 3 squared, take the opposite. So this chunk right here is negative 9. This is a huge deal. And I have a feeling that the people that aren't paying attention to me right now is going to be part of that crew that's going to get this wrong on your quiz and test. It's not different, it's just you have to know how to evaluate the right way.
The other side, it was negative 3 times negative 3. Now you're telling me this is the opposite.
Right, because
Because of the parentheses.
Because it was parentheses.
yes.
So now it's just negative, it's just 3 that's being applied.
This, guys, listen, what this means right here, this means take whatever you're plugging in for x and square it, and then take its opposite. The answer that comes out of this chunk will always be negative when it's written like that. Always. Because even if I were to plug in a negative number, if I take a negative number and I square it, but then take the opposite of it, it's still negative. This chunk right here will always come out negative. Are we listening? Now I do the evaluation part. Negative 9 plus 18 is 9. 9 minus 11 is a negative 2. I cannot tell you how many kids will get this wrong. Year in and year out, no matter what I say. Don't let you fall into the devil's snare of this type of problem. Now I know where the vertex is. It's at 3, negative 2. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that on my graph. 3, negative 2, there it is. Go ahead and put your axis of symmetry right through it. Now, I want you to keep something in mind. If this graph, you told me at the very beginning that this graph was going to be upside down. So if this graph is going to be upside down, won't this vertex be the highest point on the whole graph?
Yes.
So when I go to plug in another number, I should not get a point up here. That would make no sense. They should all be down here. Keep that in mind as you do this. So what number should I plug in next, 2 or 4? 2, sure. Let's plug in a 2. Everybody plug in a 2 and see if you do it correctly. Go ahead and get your own answer and don't look up here until you have yours. Did you get the same thing I got? Be careful. I'm telling you, this first number right here is what's going to mess you up every single time. Don't let it mess you up. If it helps, what you could do is you could rewrite this original. You could write it as negative 1 times x squared, if that helps you. Because it's the same thing. So if it helps you to remind yourself, okay, square whatever x is first and then multiply by negative 1. If that helps, go ahead. Whatever works for you to know that this is going to be a negative 4, and then you do your math from there. Okay, so 2, negative 3. Now when I go to plug that in, remember what you told me. It should be below this point. 2, negative 3. Oh, good. Yeah, that's making sense. Right? It's supposed to be an upside down graph, so far my points are lining up like they should be. What are your next 2 options for numbers to plug in? 1 or 5. It's up to you. I'd plug in 1 because it's easy. But you do what you want. If I plug in a 1, and then maybe if it helps you to write it as -1 times 1 squared, go ahead. Write it that way if that helps you. I don't know. Just make sure you evaluate correctly. So do your math and see if you get out what I got out. Did you? So 1 -6. And then I can mirror it over to the other side. And now I'm happy. Everything I thought it would be, it's upside down. It's not particularly wide or narrow because I used just 1. So I think I did a good job.